Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about some sleep hygiene. And this is probably one of the most important things that we can do in terms of our own self-care, because sleep is how the body recharges itself. This is how we allow the body to work its magic. This is the time when the body rests, rejuvenates, and allows us to heal itself. So sleep is one of the most important things that we can do and focus on when it comes to self-care and making sure that we are taking the best care of ourselves. You know, I don't have to tell you guys anything you don't know. When you wake up after a poor night's sleep, you're probably a little cranky, maybe a little sore. So this is one of those things that we may be able to kind of help solve together. Of course, as always, I'm going to talk about my experiences, things that have worked for me, my clients, people around me. If it doesn't resonate for you, that's fine. Leave it at the door, as with anything. So I hope maybe you can find something today that we talk about that resonates for you, and you are able to maybe get some help with your own sleep, because I know a lot of us do in some fashion kind of have trouble with sleep. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. And again, thank you for joining me. The first thing I want to talk about, and if you've heard me talk before, I mention this often, know thyself, right? So know where you're at, know what your starting points are, because if you don't really take a good, honest look at where you're at initially, it can be hard to make adjustments if we're not being honest with ourselves and saying, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm not getting the full night's sleep that I want. Maybe this isn't ideal. We have to really take that honest look and say, okay, is this what we want? So when it comes to sleep, again, know thyself. Are you a heavy or a light sleeper? What do you prefer? Or not necessarily prefer, but what you are, right? What you know at this point to be true. Understand what your sleep patterns are. Are you an early bird, or do you like to stay up at night? And which part of that is what your body actually prefers? Because there's, you know, some pieces of that where it's a little bit of ego, where sometimes, you know, we may force ourselves to stay up a little later because, you know, our spouse, significant other, you know, stays up and we typically would like to do. So there's a lot of getting to really get clear with what actually works for you and what may be working for those around you. I used to, and I still do, I have a problem where I'll fall asleep on the couch while we're watching TV at night, and then, you know, I'll get woken up when it's time to get into bed, and then I have a hard problem, or I have a hard time actually falling back asleep because I've already fallen asleep once, and I'm jostled, right, from being woken up and having to go into the other room and, you know, get settled again. So myself, I'm trying to work on recognizing when I know I'm falling asleep, when I know, you know, I put my head down on the pillow on the couch, not to do that, right? To just take those couple extra steps, go ahead and get ready, and maybe go into bed a little early. So again, it's important to really get clear on those truths, right? And not, you know, feel like you're stuck just because your partner is one way, your kid may be another way, right? Everybody around you, your roommates, it doesn't really matter, because sleep is one of those individual things. Everybody needs sleep, and everybody's going to be unique when it comes to how you best get sleep, or how you best stay asleep, maintain sleep, whatever that looks like for you. So I'm going to talk about something that is super controversial, if you will. I do not believe that we should have TV in the bedroom. Shocker. I am a firm believer in setting those boundaries, right? And that is a firm boundary of no electronics in the bedroom. There are a couple small exceptions, right? But for me, no electronics in the bedroom does help me a lot, especially as an empath, because I feel a lot of energy. I often will sense when text messages come in on my phone example, so I won't even take my phone into the bedroom at night. I know a lot of people will sometimes, relax, fall asleep to the TV, which again is habit. A lot of us do these things out of habit because this is what we've been doing and it may be working. However, the light that's emitted from the TV is still that same blue light that triggers being awake, as does your phone. I don't know if you guys remember when Apple switched, I think it was maybe a year or two ago, and added that nighttime setting so that automatically at 10 o'clock, it switches to less blue light. So it stops, emitting those blue light particles, which keep us awake. So there is definitely certain things that we can, control. So I know that no TV in the bedroom, a lot of people love to, stay in on Sunday mornings and watch, TV in bed. I don't believe in it. I really believe it should be for sleeping, for sex, and for getting ready, right? This isn't an active room, if you will. That's what the living room is for, right? For living in. So it's really, in my opinion, best to treat your bedroom as that sacred space and really honor that boundary space. So routine and schedule is something else that's really important for us to consider when we're talking about sleep patterns. The body is really used to and kind of craves patterns, right? We do best, for example, when we meditate at the same time every day, in the same place. Same thing with our sleep schedule. If we know we need 8 hours of sleep and we have to be up the next day at a certain point in time, hey, guess what? That lays it out for us, right? So if you know you have to be up at, say, 6 a.m. and you know you need 8 hours of sleep, or you function best, right, at 8 hours of sleep, great. Go ahead. Know that you need to get into bed at a certain time, right? You need to get at 10 o'clock. So maybe at 8 o'clock, you set a reminder on your phone and you say, okay, turn the phone off for the night, plug it away. So you can start to get into that. You can start to get into a habit of turning off the phone, turning off the TV. And something we don't necessarily think about too when we talk about those, I want to say empathic disturbances, if you will. We are so sensitive to the stuff around us. If we're not careful, it's really easy for us to start taking in everybody else's stuff, especially when it comes to, we lost that train of thought. I'm so sorry, guys. In and out. Hopefully it'll come right back. But yes, set the routine, have a schedule. That is one of the best things that you can start to do for your body. Okay, so I was talking about the timing, setting your timer. Okay. Sorry, it was gone. I'm sure I'll get back to it in notes. I'm going all over the place with my notes because it's just coming to me, guys. So exercise can also definitely help. Getting out there always helps me to sleep soundly through the night. But whatever feels comfortable for you guys, even if it's just walking. I talk about this a lot. I don't like to sweat. I don't like to be uncomfortable. Exercise is not my favoriteest thing. So even days that I'm outside, walking in nature, hiking, I'm sleeping better at night and I'm feeling, more rested, more in tune because I am connecting on those levels. So water, of course, is something that I always talk about. You guys have heard me talk about it ad nauseum. However, super important, and this is one of those proactive versus reactive conversations that we have a lot. Drink your water in the morning because, of course, actually it's better for your body because your body needs to be hydrated, especially after a night's sleep where you haven't been drinking water for, 6, 7, 8 hours. Hopefully you're sleeping that chunk. So it is really important to actually drink a lot of water in the morning to hydrate your body, to wake up your organs so they can be properly functioning and flushing and working through what they need after you've woken up from your slumbers. And 2, This helps so you're not waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom a lot, right? Because a lot of water because they don't want to wake up in the middle of the night. Well, drink your water during the day, and that won't be a problem. So again, that's the proactive versus reactive. Again, this also may be an unpopular opinion, but alcohol certainly doesn't help sleep. You may feel like initially it helps. However, once that alcohol has worn off in your system, you can actually wake up. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. I used to be a moderate drinker. I wasn't like super happy, but there was a couple times that I remember waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to fall back asleep because being drunk was the reason that I had fallen asleep in the first place, right? So the body, as soon as it processes the alcohol, you're right back to where you started. So it doesn't really help. So, sorry about that, guys. Of course, your diet has a lot to do with how you sleep. The more processed food you put in your body, the harder your body has to work. The more fried food you put in your body, the harder the body has to work to process that. Spicy food can be hard on the digestive system. Think about the things that you're eating at night, closer to bedtime, those things that are going to be sitting in your stomach all night. If you're not giving yourself enough time to properly digest it. So something I often talk about and do for myself mainly is eat my heavier meals during the day because that's what feels best to me. And that has also helped me, at night. That being said, there are nights that I actually do have to have a snack before bed because I know I'm actually woken up. There's times that I've been woken up in the morning by hunger because I'm so hungry because it's been so long that my body hasn't had anything. So that's just me. Again, you guys have to listen to your body. Listen to what feels good. Listen to what your body is asking for because a lot of times it's going to tell you. We just have to listen. That's half the battle. So another thing, chocolate has a lot of caffeine in it. So you really want to think about cutting out caffeinated beverages. I know a lot of I see a lot of people joke about coffee being their magic brew, their magic potion in the morning. Ha ha ha, but it has a lot of caffeine. So really look at how much coffee you're drinking and how you're using it, essentially. Because think about if you're not getting enough sleep and you're waking up in the morning and you're like, oh my God, I need coffee to function, you're actually kind of prolonging the problem. Because then you're introducing the caffeine into your system. And then sometimes you crash after you have the caffeine and you need more and it's 2 o'clock and you're still drinking caffeine and it's going to affect you for the rest of the day. And then you have trouble sleeping at night and then we wake up the next day and start over. So it can be really helpful if you do have a sleep problem to completely eliminate caffeine. If that is not feasible, drink your caffeine before 2 o'clock is the ideal, as procured. However, caffeine regardless, any time of day is a stimulant, right? So there's no two ways around that one. So now I'm going to talk about some specific things that I've broken down because again, I have a lot of thoughts on sleep. Sleep is something that everybody in my family has problems with. Like, it's a big deal. People talk about it all the time. So it's something that I've heard a lot about, and people, often come to me because they know that I've had trouble sleeping. I've had trouble sleeping until pretty recently when I've, started to actually implement and started to actually take care of myself and really, figure out this whole human thing, right? So before bed, kind of mentioned this already. Let's cut down on some screen times. The blue light before bed is not helpful. So I recommend setting a timer on your phone. Most people have to, again, we talked about this, get up at a certain time so you know what time you're supposed to get in bed. So if you're getting in bed at 10 o'clock, for 8 o'clock to say, okay, put me away, charge me, say goodnight. Now, if you're the kind of person who says, well, wait a second, I use my phone as my alarm clock, Well, here's the things. Get an alarm clock, or like use an old iPhone or an iPod or something that's lying around, or heaven forbid, an alarm clock. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but empathic, these electronics, again, like I said, you can feel sometimes when text messages come through, even if the sound is off. There's times when I feel my thing, right? And so I know that it's a text message and I already know, right? So that's just energetics. So think about when you have all this stuff coming into your bedroom, you kind of want to create, again, that boundary, that sacred space. So again, I charge my phone in my bathroom at night, so it's not in, in the bedroom, around the bedroom. Reading can be a great activity if that's something you enjoy, to help kind of allow the brain to relax. The reason that, of course, we want to talk about screen time and not watching, TV, movies, all of these things so late at night, is because it actually engages more than one sense, right? So if you're watching me, for example, right now, you can see the video of me, hi, and you can hear me talking. So we're engaging two different senses right now. So those same things happen whenever you watch something on TV, right? So when we're doing that, we're using more parts of the brain. We're keeping more parts of the brain active. And those are things that we don't want to be doing when we're trying to relax and trying to go to bed. So that's oftentimes why you'll hear people talk about reading instead of, watching TV, or watching TV in bed, heaven forbid, right? So think about why we're doing what we're doing and what we're hoping to get out of it. I have a relaxation routine that I think is super helpful for me, and I encourage you to find something that works for you. So a lot of times I will, wash my face, put on some moisturizer. I recently got a jade roller. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it is made of jade, and you roll it on your face all nice, and it helps to rub in, lotions, all that lovely stuff. And it does help me relax too, right? Because it's a meditative activity, if you will, because it is just that being present, being mindful activity. So I encourage you to find a relaxation routine. So something that allows you to pamper yourself. I think we forget and sometimes think that skincare is vanity. However, our skin is an organ. It is the largest organ in the body, and it is also the most porous and exposed organ in the body. So that means we need to take the most care of it. And I think we just kind of forget that sometimes, right? A lot of times we'll take care of our face, maybe forget about the rest of our body, right? Not maybe do the exfoliation, the lotion, the whole action with the rest of the body, but it's just as important, right? So take that time. Self-massage is another great way to really connect with yourself, prepared for bed. And it does help because in theory, when you're sleeping, you're not moving around. You're staying in the same position all night. So you do want to stretch before bed. You do want to take that opportunity to, rub out your muscles, make sure that you're connecting. I see Maddie just said baths. Yes, we're going to talk about baths in a second. That was actually my next thing. Ha, amazing. So right, baths are a huge, huge, huge lifesaver for me. I'm a big fan of Epsom salt baths, pink Himalayan sea salt baths. Big fan of mustard baths. Those have been really helpful for me lately as well. Helping to detoxify different parts of the body and different organs. So baths, really soothing, really nice, whatever feels good to you. But again, warm water, a bath or a shower is going to be relaxing, and that can, be part of your relaxation routine at night as well. Tea, of course, is really great. Not too much for reasons that we already talked about. However, lavender, chamomile, sleepy time tea, right? Whatever that looks like for you. But using those herbs that we know already work for us. Magnesium, this is actually something that my doctor recommended to me, called magnesium powder. And I know my mom takes it as well to help with her sleep. A lot of people take it, and it's really great for anxiety. It's not something that I've taken. I don't super love powdery stuff. I have kind of a weird thing with like drinking powdered stuff. It doesn't taste good on my palate. But if it works for you, if you're interested, again, it's available at like a lot of different specialty kind of health stores called magnesium. And we already kind of talked about stretching, light yoga, right? Stretching out your back, making sure that, the muscles that your body isn't tense when you're going to lie down and go to sleep. Because especially when you're lying down and trying to go to sleep, you need to be comfortable. You need to be relaxed. Which brings me to my next point, the actual bed. Is your mattress soft enough? Is your body supported? Are your sheets soft enough? When's the last time you washed them, right? As somebody who has dealt with depression in the past, if you are somebody who is not getting out of bed, if you're eating in bed, if you're hanging out, really take the time, dust the crumbs off, make sure you are, treating yourself with that respect and really using the bed for what it needs to be used for. And that can sometimes be a difficult space too if you're in a depressive state too and not really getting out of bed. Really use the spaces as they're intended to. Are you using the correct detergent? A lot of us aren't paying really close attention, and the clothes on our body don't feel good. The sheets don't feel good. Our towels don't feel good. So are you using something that's conducive to your body that's going to make you itch? So these are all little things to kind of think about. Is your pillow supporting your head, your neck properly? Do you have enough pillows? I tease my partner all the time. He has like 4 or 5 different pillows, and he kind of goes through and does the whole thing. And it's fine. I have 1 pillow. But are your pillows working for you? Are they supporting you? Are they allowing you to get into a comfortable enough position that feels good to you? Is the scent relaxing, right? So I have a spray. This is the little spray that I use. I actually got it in a hotel, and I like the smell of it. So this is what I've been using for the past couple months. But you guys can make spray out of essential oils, a little bit of, maybe lavender oil with carrier spray. So maybe witch hazel or alcohol is a great carrier for that as well. So a ton of different ways, even just water, right? Water is a really great spray too, you guys. So you can have that element of freshness. Because a lot of times too, if there's something distracting your brain, if you're not fully in the zone, it can be hard. If maybe there's a dog in the bed, and we'll get to that too, that maybe doesn't smell super fresh, right? We've all had these experiences where there's like that one little thing. Think about the best way that you can create that, again, sacred space, that haven in that bedroom. And blankets too. What feels good to you? I'm the kind of person, I need a sheet at least on me at all times, even when I'm hot, because I feel like I need the weight. I don't sleep well without that weight. So are you needing a weighted blanket? That may be something that can help too. I've talked with a lot of different people who have had a lot of success using weighted blankets as a sleep tool. So keep that in mind. Let's talk a little bit more about the bedroom before we talk about actually getting in bed. Again, we talked about no cell phones in the bedroom, so keeping technology out, really making it that sacred space. Don't hang out. Don't be watching TV. Use the bed for what it's for. Clutter. This is a really big one. And those of us who resonate as empathic, even if you don't really want to admit it, clutter in your space is distracting. Everything has, right? Just we talk about absolutely everything in our space has energy. This pen in front of me, right? This has energy. So if you have a bunch of clutter, if you have a bunch of stuff in your room, a bunch of stuff on your nightstand right next to you, a bunch of stuff on your floor, it's going to be disruptive energy, right? That's chaotic. If it's not in a proper space, if it's not in its home, if you will. So think about the clutter in your bedroom. Think about what you have going on. Again, scents, you can use an oil diffuser. You can use things like a humidifier to help introduce more moisture into your space. I grew up in Chicago. I used to get nosebleeds pretty much every winter because it was so dry. So every time that happened, humidifier, right? So this is one of those things where we can look at as being proactive instead of reactive. Noise. And again, this is going to be one of those super unique things because it's so different for everyone. Some people need white noise. Some people like nature sounds. You can buy a noise machine. Headphones are great if you have a partner who doesn't maybe necessarily like the same noises that you do. A lot of great options for you. You can also, use headphones with a meditation as well. And that's a good choice to kind of help you drift into that state. I've used binaural beats before. You can find them online. And again, that's something that I would recommend putting on like an iPod, something connected and getting constantly receiving information updates in that sense. Some people need a fan to sleep, right? You talk to those people who are like, oh my God, you need a fan to sleep, and it's how cold? Breeze, air, right? So it's all about what feels comfortable to you. Do you have animals in your bed? Do you have maybe children in your bed? Right? So think about the things that are going on in that space, right? Think about all of the energy that's going on. So if there's animals in your bed, and this, I speak as somebody who used to sleep with, dogs in bed. It's distracting when the dog wakes up and, shifts around and, snorts around and all that stuff. So if you're somebody who has trouble sleeping, really, really be conscientious of all of these little things that can have an effect on us. And so let's talk about actually getting in bed and what that looks like. So are you comfortable, right? Are you wearing pajamas? Are you nude? Completely up to you. But again, it's really important to be really clear on what feels good to you and what is going to be the best option for you. I know that there were times that I used to wake up like sweating because I was wearing like long sleeve pajamas and stuff, and it was just not working for me, right? So this is part of knowing yourself. This is part of knowing what you need, what you don't need. Cuddling. And again, talking about pets, talking about spouses, talking about partners, right? Safely cuddling, right? Hopefully not with strangers unless that's your jam, but it's cool. But right, cuddling, that's something that I have to do every night that helps me sleep. And that's something that my partner and I've discussed, that I, for a certain period of time, like to be, held every night, and that helps me feel loved and it feels connected. So again, great resource if you have access to that. And again, having sex, really great way to help your body fall asleep, to help you get into that relaxed state. If you're not with somebody, there are ways to definitely take care of that and still have an orgasm. So really, we're all adults here. Enjoy yourself, but think about that does help you go to sleep, right? Helps with a lot of things. So all good stuff, right? Oh, I forgot to talk about crystals. We're going to go back and talk about crystals for a second. Crystals in your bedroom, right? I know a lot of us have crystals in all rooms of our house, all different places. I actually used to sleep with this rose quartz in my bed, cuddled with me. I'd hold it because it's nice, right? It's soft. There are certain stones that those of us who have trouble sleeping should maybe think about not using, right? So like blue kyanite helps for dreams, helps to make our dreams vivid, right? So if you're a kind of person who has trouble sleeping, that may not be the best option for you, right? So really do your research. Rose quartz, of course, is great. A regular quartz, right? So a quartz point is a really great option. This quartz, of course, works with any of your chakras, but the clear quartz is a master crystal, so it works on all the different chakras. Howlite is a great stone to keep in the bedroom as well. You may want to be conscientious about stones that resonate with the third eye and with the crown chakra, because those are going to be stimulating at a time where you kind of want to relax and rest with those. Grounding stones may help. So black tourmaline, onyx, you know, those kind of really deep grounding stones. I would really probably recommend black tourmaline when it comes to that, to really help stay grounded. But again, whatever feels good in those grounding stones. And you know what? There's times where you're still going to wake up in the middle of the night. If I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't sleep, I do get up out of bed because I don't want to wake up my partner, because I don't think that's very fair to wake him up just because I'm having issues. So I will come out to the living room, maybe, you know, watch some TV for a little bit. Again, I try not to turn on TV or movie or even lights, really, to be honest with you. Like if I wake up and go to the bathroom, I have actually a pink Himalayan salt lamp in my bathroom that lights up multicolored, so I don't even turn on my light in the middle of the night, because that wakes my brain up, right, when we have that bright light. So use the things around you, right? Be conscientious. And again, if you do wake up in the middle of the night, there's no harm in getting up. There's no harm in, you know, going and finding a spot, maybe getting cozy and comfy and seeing if you can fall asleep somewhere else. Something that does regularly help me, I do take CBD oil. That does help with my anxiety and my stress. So I'm not super good about taking stuff every day, but that is something that I should be taking every day. I live in Arizona. I do live in a state where we have medical. It is something that I use, and so, you know, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say I don't use that when it comes to trying to help me sleep, because I do. But you know, that's kind of a last case resort for me. That's like if I'm not going anywhere and we're getting in real deep. So there's definitely things that you can do when it, and know that there are so many different types of natural options when it comes to sleep. Are things like L-tryptophan has helped me in the past, and has helped me as well. So there's a lot of different natural remedies that can help as well, on all different, you know, spectrums. So in terms of homeopathic remedies as well. I hope that has been informative for you guys. I know we talked about a lot of different things when it comes to sleep. If you guys have any questions about sleep, anything we talked about, please go ahead and put them up in the comment section real quick. Yeah, you guys, so I see Champagne says, I have a habit of always having to sleep on the outside of the bed or I can't sleep. Good, weird habit, right? So pay attention to those habits, right? Pay attention to those different like idiosyncrasies, and really honor that, right? At night, I'll tell you how I have found it easiest for me to sleep. I have to stay on my back, or at least, you know, fall asleep on my back. You know, put my arms in some position so I'm not, you know, curling my wrists under, because I ran into a problem with that, you know, causing some pain. And really just take in some deep breaths, some breathing techniques. That's how I fall asleep most nights, because I'll be honest with you guys, when I close my eyes at night, it's not black. It's not like I get to shut off. I see faces, I see people, I see different dimensions. I get shown different things. So there's kind of a point in time where you have to say, okay, how do we work this? Because it doesn't always work just closing your eyes and going to sleep. For some people, it may. My partner's like that. He's a sound sleeper. I'm so jealous. So jealous. But it is what it is, right? So I do what I can. I do what's within my power. And I kind of, work with what I'm given. So Sarah says, I have a hard time feeling rested because I dream so much. Yes. Yes, yes, I do. And I'll be honest, I haven't really found that a way to alleviate that. So I hear you, and it's frustrating because sometimes you have slept the entire night, right? Because you haven't moved. You wake up and you're like, holy shit, I'm exhausted. I feel like I've been up, saving the world. And so at that point, you just have to be gentle. You just have to be kind to yourself. You just kind of have to take a step back and say, okay, this is where we're at today, and this is what's going on. So I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Natalie says, how do I get better in remembering my dreams? So you can keep a journal next to your bed. That's probably the best tip I can give you. And as soon as you wake up, writing down everything you remember. Because the longer you wait, the less connected we are to the dreams. So literally keep a pen and paper. As soon as you wake up, write it down. You can also, before you go to sleep, ask, set the intention to remember your dreams. But again, if you are having trouble sleeping, I wouldn't necessarily advise that, because that's going to keep you up and potentially have you in a state of lucid dreaming, which again is not necessarily restful to the soul, if you will, right? Because like we're talking about here, Sarah, when Sarah says I'm not rested because I'm dreaming so much. So hope that resonates for you. Hi, Karen. Hi, hi, hi. So hope anybody has any other questions. Let me know. Then we'll go ahead and do some readings. Yeah, Natalie, let me know how that works for you. But really just set the intention with it. If it's something you're interested in. Dreams are really interesting, you guys, and that's a whole other thing. And I know we have a lot of people who talk a lot about dreams. I know Maria Rodriguez, one of the other teachers, does some dream interpretation. Jess Miramontes also talks about dreams a lot too. So we have a lot of really, really interesting topics about dreams. That's not something I'm even going to go into right now, because that is a whole other part of sleep. Oh, there is something like, tell me about the brainwaves. Tell me about the brainwaves. Okay, so there's an exercise that I want to show you guys, if you will. Very easy, very simple, and this is something that I was actually taught in a meditation class. Not meditation class, why did I say that? One of the energetic classes that I did a while ago. I've been studying energy medicine for quite some time, so there's probably 4, 5, 6 different energetic modalities that I practice. And I honestly don't remember at which one I learned this. However, when we talk about dreams, when we talk about the dream state and where we're at, you have to consider brainwaves, right? And so I'm not going to go into the whole thing with brainwaves. However, here's a technique to help you sleep, or to help to a meditative state more quickly when you are trying to do those deep meditations. Close your eyes, and you guys can go ahead and practice. Please, if you're driving, do not close your eyes, but if you're in a safe space to do so, close your eyes. Take a deep breath, and then with your eyes still closed, this may sound a little weird at first, but with your eyes still closed, roll your eyes up as if you were looking to your third eye, so right in the middle of your forehead, right? So just roll them up. You're going to want to hold them there for about 10 seconds. And bring them back. Just regular and relaxed. You can go ahead and bring them back up. And relax. One more time. And relax. So let me know if you relaxed, how you're feeling after that exercise. And that is something that you can do, like I said, to really kind of get you in a meditative space really, really quickly and get you zoned in and ready to go.